Hello everybody, it's your old pal Michael here. Welcome back to Michael Louden TV. In this episode we're going to talk about running recaps. Be talking about the Run for the Sun here. That's what this shirt is. It's a nice crimson color shirt. And of course on the back you have all the sponsors for the race as well. So very nice shirts. It's a mix between a polyester and a cotton shirt. It's like 50-50. So anyways, this recap is actually coming out a week after I ran the race because running recaps I usually post on Saturdays. So when you're actually watching this video, I actually ran the race a week earlier. So anyways, with this race, it's not the biggest race of the Kalamazoo Area Runners series. It was the finale race for me. There was a race the next day, the Bronson Children's Hospital 5K, but I had to work, so I didn't get a chance to do that one. And so this one, I've done now for the past 4 years. They had it down at Celery Flats the first year I did it. And this is actually the 18th Run for the Sun, by the way. The last 3 years, we've had it down at Verslew and Dickinson Field is where we start. And then we run down, then we run through the streets of Kalamazoo. We run on part of the Kalamazoo Valley Trail for part of the race. We got nice crowd support, people cheering us along the route, a water stop as well, and people at mile markers shouting out your times and telling you the miles. Anyways, actually, when I picked up my bib, I'm glad I noticed it early on because I actually almost ended up running for a different guy in that race. And that would have been bad because then he would have not had his bib, and I would have not been getting any credit for the time that I ran. So I'm glad I caught that early on. I mean, simple mistake. We all make them. Not that big of a deal. I wasn't mad in any way that I almost ended up running for someone else. Simple mistake that I ended up catching, and we quickly corrected that situation. Had a nice announcer out there with some music as well. They had good food after the race. You had grapes and water and Gatorade for you, and oranges and some bagels as well. And it was a nice sunny day out. Little wind, but not too much. It was a little humid. It was around 60 degrees, but the dew point was around 55 or so. So close to, near 100% humidity that day. So I did get a little sweaty out there by mile number 2. But anyways, the race went off at 9 a.m., just like it should. I was bib number 1433 for the race. And not like I said, not a lot of people ended up showing up. Actually, we had less than 100 people show up for this race. And actually, last year I looked, there was only 88 people that showed up. And I know the years before that they had over 100 and 200 people. So I don't exactly know why there's been a drop-off in numbers for this race. I don't know if it's changed the location or what, if it's because of the fact there's like I said, there's that 5K the next day. There could be other events going on as well. And it's hard sometimes to compete against all events, but this is a great race to run. It's a very nice flat course. It's marked out for you. You got, officers directing you. You got volunteers directing you where to go. You got cones marked out so you know where you're running as well. So, I mean, it's really nice and marked out. And, you get, like I said, plenty of volunteer support out there for you as well. So anyways, when I started, I was looking around. I was thinking, well, there's not a lot of, fast people here. Maybe I could, take top first place today. That fell a little short of that, however. I asked my friend Chris what he was planning on actually running. And he said, maybe in the 19s. We'll have to see how I feel. And I was like thinking to myself, well, I can't really run in the 19s yet. I've been struggling to break 21 recently. And my goal for this race was to break 21 again. So he goes out pretty fast. So I stick a little bit behind him, and there's another guy, Morris, who another member of the Kalamazoo Area Runners, who ended up passing me pretty early on and was going after Chris. And they, after the first mile, were about 15 seconds or so in front of me. I actually ended up running about a 6:03 first mile. So the first half mile is all straight down Woodward, and then we turn right onto Patterson, and then left onto the trail almost immediately after. And that's where we hit the mile markers on the trail, which we're on probably for about a quarter mile or so. Then we end up coming back down Woodward, down, and then head down to Patterson. And then we turn yeah, we turned right onto Patterson. We turned right onto another street. Can't remember the name of it. But anyways, those two are they're too far in front of me to really worry about go after. I'm worrying just thinking about my time. And 6:03 was a great time. Pretty fast start for me. But I was okay with it. I mean, I was like, well, that's what happens. That's what happens. We're just going to go. We're not going to think about slowing down or losing time or anything like that. And I had somebody running behind me. I could hear them behind me the whole first mile. And every time we took a corner, I did 5 quick steps. And I got ahead of them a little bit. They were able to keep up with me. So they pulled ahead of me just about a mile and a half in. So he turned, like I said, right off of Patterson, then right onto another street. And we get to about the 2 mile mark and they say 13 minutes. I'm like, great. We went from 6-minute mile to about a 7-minute mile, which probably means it's going to be pretty tough for me to break 21 minutes, thinking about how slow my time is probably going to be. And this kid had, like I said, just gotten in front of me, but I was able to continue to stick with him. We turned left off this street, right back onto the trail, and then right back onto Woodward. So now we got probably 3/4 mile to go to the finish line at this point. And always during this race, when we get back on cross Patterson onto Woodward, onto the other side with that half mile to go, I always turn it on a little bit at this point. And so, I'm sticking with this kid. Morris and Chris are just too far out in front of me. And so we get back all the way, turning left back into the park. And you can see the time. It's on a clock, and it said about 19:45. I'm like, wow, I'm going to break 21 by a lot today. This is awesome. The kid ended up sprinting away from me. I don't have much of a kick at the end. I used what I could. Crossed the line. 4th place overall. I was first in my age group, and I ended up finishing with a time of 20:12. So, I mean, I went from 21:30 the last race to 20:12 this race. So they must have, they must not have been exactly at the mile marks, I'm guessing. So it was a great race. I felt so fantastic afterwards running that time of 20:12. Just to take off that much time between 2 weeks between races is great. The speed work I've been putting in has been really helping out a lot. So that's just great to do. So, I mean, I give advice to if there's one piece of advice I can give to any other runners or people that want to get into running watching this, when you train for races, don't just put in easy miles like 4 miles, 6 miles, things like that. Put in speed work, whether that be a tempo run, whether that be intervals, 1/4 mile intervals, 800s, mile intervals. Anything like that will help you maintain that speed later in the race and can help you get really good times. So, I'm looking for, it was my last Kalamazoo Area Runners race of the season. I believe that was my best time this year. I think my other top time before that was 2019 at the K5K, and that was back in May. And I thought maybe this was the best time that I actually had in this race, but I had 20:06 a couple of years ago. Time Hop actually told me that today. 2 years ago, I ran 20:06 in this race. So 6 seconds slower than 2 years ago. But I've got 4 races I'm running coming up in October. We're going to start with on October 10th. I got the Portage Invitational Glory Days 5K. Then on the 17th, I've got the Impact Trail Run. The 24th, the WMU Campus Classic. And the 31st, the Jack-O-Lantern 5K. I don't know, necessarily if I'm going to break 20 in any of those races. I'm sure most of them are going to have hills in them, but I'm going to try my best to run as best I can. Continue putting the speed work, continue putting the mileage, that I need to help me out. So here's the medal that I ended up getting for it. It actually says it on the back, "Run for the Sun," and gives you the date of the race. And on the front it says 5K. So it's a nice medal that they give out, and it's got gold on it as well. So that'll do it for this actually Kalamazoo Area Runners racing season, but I still got, like I said, 4 races in October, and I've got probably at least 3 more in November, I'd say, and that would really end the running season. There's the run through the lights in December, but that's just a fun run event, so it's not a raced one, it's not a timed one, so I probably won't, I'll run it, but I won't be racing in it really because it's just for fun. So I mean, just let me know. You know, if any of you ever had frustrations in running like I've had, you know, in the comment section below. You know, where you were trying to break a certain time and you just were struggling so mightily to just break it, and then one race you just broke through it big time, and then from there on it was just like your time just continued to go down. Or you know, like I said, if you want to get into running, you know, you can post your comments in the section below. I can give you some advice to try to help you out. It's not gonna be, you know, like top level advice. It's just gonna be like simple advice on what to do. Like if you want to know, you know, what kind of shoes you should wear, you know, or where where you can go to get, you know, good running shoes. You know, what kind of runs should you be doing? How far should you be going for training? I can try to help you out the best I can. And actually, before the Glory Days 5K, I've got a good big running surprise coming up. We're actually going to have a video about that coming up actually on October 3rd. So what usually be a running recap day, I'll be posting a update video of a race I'm about to enter that's a distance I've never ran before. So stay tuned for that. I want to thank all of you for watching this video. Thank you for subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe to my channel for more content. I'll post a link to that up in the corner. You can follow me on Twitter. I'll post a link to that in the description. This is Michael Louden, over and out for the Run for the Sun 2015 Run for the Sun recap.